So I just celebrated my 67th birthday. I started in ministry when I was about 24 years old, newly married, and we were involved in ministry in every aspect of the church, but rarely behind the pulpit. It would be 14 years at the location in Yakima where we served, but I preached or taught only 5 times in 14 years. The development of our ministry was participating wherever our leadership, my pastor specifically, Daniel Leslie, in wherever he needed us to serve. It started out, we were driving the Sunday school van. We had 3 vans. We went out and picked people up. We did this on the way to before Sunday school. Then we would take kids home, families home after Sunday school. Then we would return and catch the last portion of a service. We'd take people home after that. We'd run home, take a nap, and then usually in the evening, say an hour before service, we would go out again and pick people up. And so usually every Sunday and often on Wednesday nights, we spent many hours in a van picking people up. And of course, it was in a van where people would ask questions. And there were times that we could answer those questions. And there were times that we would simply have to refer them to the pastor or other senior leadership. We were relatively young and new in this endeavor, but that's really where ministry started for me. And it evolved in time. We taught Sunday school classes, and we got involved with various ministries like Spirit of Freedom Ministries. We would eventually get involved in jail ministry in our town. I was asked to serve as the Washington District Prison Ministry Director for about 5 years. We got involved with youth, ended up working in the youth department, served as youth president. The evolution of ministry just continued through our ongoing involvements in the church, whether it was things inside or doing outreach. We did street ministry. We wanted to participate wherever the door would open for us to participate in ministry. But I will say this, in the beginning, very little of it involved a teaching or preaching position or involvement, but it was ministry. When you're serving others, it's ministry. When you're serving the Lord, it is ministry. And so the eventuality of that was we would leave Yakima and then go on to Sunnyside, Washington, with our pastor's approval, to start a new work, to start a church there. And we did all that we knew to do, but everything that we were involved in, I want to use this word and introduce it now, it was in the traditional sense. It was traditional ministry. And so as things developed there, here's the thing that surprised me the most. Having not had opportunities to preach on an ongoing basis, my largest question was, how am I going to come up with something to say every week? And we went out and gathered children, we gathered young people, anybody that would come. We did rent a facility, a Bible bookstore, had a basement. We rented that and set up a system. We did everything that traditional churches would do in trying to have a service. And so we had services there. And I got to tell you, there were many times I was preaching to my wife and children. There was an element that I felt like what I was doing was a work of the Spirit, and that it was being projected outside of that building, and it was affecting that community. But another one of the things that developed while we were there in Sunnyside was I began to pray in ways that I had not prayed before. We lived on 40 acres, an orchard. We didn't own it. We rented the house. But I would go out, put my Carhartts on, and I would go out and walk the orchard. We had a dog that would go with me. And there were times that I would just lay down in the grass there in the orchard and pray. It was on a hill that overlooked the valley, so I could see the town of Sunnyside and the surrounding area. And I would pray, and I would point at houses and just begin to pray about the families that lived in those homes. And I have to say that there was a shift that began to take place in my ministering during that season of time. So I wanted to get this channel kicked off. I'm referring to this as Coach Me for Ministry. A lot of time in life, your worth is determined by what you do, what you produce. But there comes a season in life that there is a change, and your real value, even in the kingdom of God, is not just what you do, but it's what you know. And so, because I have come into that season of life now, I feel like I want to share this and reach out to as many as possible who are aspiring for ministry. They feel the call to ministry, or they feel like there's another dimension, another level. I'll tell you, I have discovered those things along the way, and it was usually with the help of other people. And I'm going to talk more about that in these videos, but we'll get together again. Thank you for taking the time for watching this short video.